As Chinese leaders disappear into the abyss, Chinese ships are surfacing in the high seas in international waters which China does not control. Let me remind you what I'm talking about. This research vessel, WION 6, last week it arrived in Colombo. To do what? To conduct maritime research off the island's west coast. At least that's what Beijing is saying. But we have our doubts given its track record. You see, in the last 3 years, several Chinese ships have docked in Sri Lanka in the name of doing research. We'll go through the instances in just a bit, but first, let me tell you the fear that these instances have evoked. They've made India suspicious about China's intentions. Are these really research vessels or giant snooping devices? That's the question buzzing in New Delhi as of now. Let's tell you what China is saying. It says the vessel pursued research off Sri Lanka's western coast in collaboration with Sri Lanka's National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency, or NARA. What kind of research? The agency says it was there to conduct marine scientific research in the waters. Interestingly, Sri Lanka's Ministry of Foreign Affairs had earlier said that the vessel was at the Colombo port for replenishment. We wonder who's speaking the truth. Take a look. Let me also tell you some details about this ship. The WION 6 was added to China's fleet of marine research vessels in December 2020. It is said to be the country's first scientific research vessel. China says the vessel's main aim is to focus on geophysical exploration. It is said to be operating at sea for about 80 days with 13 research teams. Now here's the thing. This is not the first ship to dock at a port in Sri Lanka. Last year, China sent a military vessel to Sri Lanka, the Yuan Wang 5. It docked at the Hambantota port around mid-August. At first, the Lankan government refused to admit this visit. Their defense ministry claimed to have no information whatsoever about any port call. Days later, they made a U-turn. The ministry said the ship docked for fuel and replenishment, the same reason it gave this time. If we speak of the vessel China docked, it was not your typical military vessel. It was not a gunboat or a carrier. It was a tracking ship. The Chinese government calls it a research vessel. It was built in 2007 and is among 222 meters long. With that kind of range, China can snoop on Indian assets. And what does that include? The nuclear power station at Kalpakkam, the atomic center at Kudankulam, the Southern Naval Command at Kochi, and 6 ports across southern India. Naturally, India is bound to be alarmed. You see, China has invested heavily in Sri Lanka. It keeps sending ships to the island nation. What do these ships do? Trade during the day and espionage by night. I don't say this without reason. This is all part of China's grand plan to dominate the Indian Ocean. They have ports all over the region. Take a look at this map now on your screens. The Dorale multi-purpose port in Djibouti, the Lamu port in Kenya, Dar es Salaam port in Tanzania, Gwadar in Pakistan, Hambantota in Sri Lanka, Chittagong port in Bangladesh. All of these were made with Chinese money. Some are fully owned by China, others have a Chinese stake. This grand project is often called the String of Pearls. At least 17 ports are part of it. All of them are located in the Indian Ocean region. My point is simple. China simply cannot be trusted. In the name of scientific research, in the name of fuel replenishment, it could be spying on countries like India. What's embarrassing is that when the same Chinese ships are in trouble, Beijing doesn't hesitate in asking for help. A few months back, a Chinese deep-sea fishing vessel capsized in the central Indian Ocean, around 900 nautical miles away from India. 39 people aboard the vessel went missing. This included 17 Chinese, 17 Indonesian, and 5 Philippine mariners. China sought help from multiple countries to save its crew. India was one of the first countries to step forward. It deployed its air MR assets to help find the missing Chinese crew. Despite adverse weather, The P-8I aircraft carried out multiple extensive searches. They located multiple objects possibly belonging to the sunken vessel. China even thanked India for all its efforts. This is what India stands for. Despite skirmishes at the border, it was ready to answer China's SOS calls. India keeps humanity over politics. Only if Xi Jinping could do the same. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.